All right, guys, I'm going to get started here. So if you could make your way back to your computers and your screens, we'll get going here. So today, as you know, because you signed up for it, we're going to be covering our new and latest and greatest feature, the Quick Rate Editor. I'm super excited about this thing, mostly because this is a game changer for you guys in terms of flexibility and the ease of being able to adjust rates. I started here back in October of 2008, and this was something that people wanted in the old software, and obviously this is something people wanted in the new software, so the fact that it's finally coming to fruition here is exciting. In my humble opinion, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm sure you've all heard that before. Okay, so Quick Rate Editor. What is the Quick Rate Editor? It is the ability to quickly and easily adjust any rate right from the occupancy map. Okay, so what you're currently used to today and historically is if you want to change a rate, you have to migrate to the configuration sections and jump into rate plans. And then you have to go into the specific rate plan that you want to change, into the specific rate that you want to change, and then down into the seasons, right? So as an example, a practical example, I need people in here this weekend, and I want to do something kind of like what Booking.com does, where I run a flash sale. And I just want it to be for Friday because I need to get some heads in beds here on a busy weekend. So I literally have to come in here and I have to add a season, and I have to basically put a season within a season, if you will. And that becomes a little bit convoluted, and it's a multiple step process, and for lack of a better term, it's super annoying, right? Well, not anymore. So this Quick Rate Editor allows you not only to edit the rates on the fly, but it allows you to edit a whole bunch of other things, and we'll walk through this today. So I'm going to try and get this done within 30 minutes and respect everyone's time. I know you guys are all busy here. So from the occupancy map, guys, you'll see, as you know, you've got rates in the background, right? So unlike Redstream Professional, you now see the rates. The gray is your weekends, and the red is minimum night stays. Obviously, you see that. And then if you don't have, you know, rounded rates, in general, or you're using the yield management feature, you're going to see what those particular rates are being yielded to, right? So you guys are all familiar with that, okay? So now with the Quick Rate Editor, we've added a button up here. And so now in production, so this is live, so you should all be able to see this within your databases. If you click this money sign, this will then toggle you into the Quick Rate Editor feature, okay? So I'm going to hit this thing here. And it's going to take me into this feature, okay? So if you haven't played with this yet or haven't seen it, this is what you're looking like. So let's get familiar with this screen, okay? Up here on the top, just like the occupancy map, we see the month and the year, right? So March and April, and we can go forward and go back and jump to particular dates, right? And we see the individual days of the week, so Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday, Saturday. We see the gray for our weekends, etc. Now, over here on the left-hand side, instead of showing the units, what we're doing is we're showing you your rate plans, right? Because we're coming in to edit the rates. So in order to display those, we need to accurately display those so that you know which rate it is that you're editing, okay? So over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see the different rate plans. So here's my B&B rate plan, and then the rates within those plans, right? So B&B rate plan, king rate plan, a queen rate plan, right? Now, as I was going through that, you notice when I hover over it, what happened? So the thought was here is, okay, well, what happens if we have people that are going to edit a rate, but they forgot which unit they put it in? Maybe they recently changed, maybe they created a new rate plan. So if you hover over a specific rate plan, the pop-up will include all of the units within that rate plan, right? So not only are we showing you the rate plan and the individual rates you have set up within that plan, but if you hover over the rate plan, you're actually going to see the specific unit. So hopefully we're giving you the visibility of the information you need to see on this screen, okay? Now let's cover some other things. Again, you will also see the rates specifically within that particular rate plan on those specific dates, right? So in my B&B rate plan, my best available rate on Monday the 27th is $350, whereas on Sunday it's also $350, excuse me, on Saturday it's $450, right? So you can see that very clearly. Now, if I hover over a specific rate here, you're going to see a little pop-up box. And you'll notice this particular one has the red coloring, which is indicating to me that there is a minimum night stay associated with that Saturday as well as the Friday. So I can see the rate here of $450, I can see the base capacity, and I can see the minimum night stay. So we're trying to show you all the details that you need to see. Now, if I hover over Sunday, I'm going to see that there's a rate of $350, and that includes a base capacity of 2, so that $350 covers 2 folks, and there is no minimum night stay, right? So I can see that not only in the little pop-up, but also in the coloring. So hopefully that's pretty convenient for you. Now, something else that I think is pretty cool that we've added here is you're going to see these percentages over here, right? You see percentages, 58%, 8%, 50%, 75, 50%, okay? This is your occupancy for that particular day. Now, notice up here in this first row, it's all. So this is for everything, okay? So this 58% on Tuesday is my overall occupancy. And you'll see if I hover over that, it's telling me exactly such. 58% overall occupancy for Tuesday, March 21st, 2017, right? So 58% is my occupancy for this day, okay? Now, you're not seeing your reservations here because we're not on the occupancy map per se. We're within the quick rate editor screen. So that's why you're not seeing any reservations here. But if you go back to the occupancy map or you toggle off the quick rate editor, you will verify your 58% occupancy, okay? Now, if I go down a level, now I'm looking at my bed and breakfast rate plan here, and I see that for this bed and breakfast rate plan on Tuesday, I have a 50% occupancy. Whereas 58% is overall for the entire day, 50% is the occupancy for that particular rate plan, and if I've forgotten what units are in it, I hover back over the rate plan to see. So I have a 50% occupancy in my Suite of Dreams, the Broken Arrow Room, the Big Apple, and the Denver Bronco. And the same is to be said as you go down here. In my King rate plan, I've got a 75% occupancy for Tuesday, and in my Queen rate plan, I've got a 50% occupancy on Tuesday. And you see, as you go on, these rates fluctuate, right? So on Friday, my overall occupancy is 8%, whereas my bed and breakfast rate plan is 25%. I've got no one in any of my King rooms, and I've got no one in any of my Queen rate rooms, okay? So again, trying to give you some displays and visuals that are going to assist you in making the decision of adjusting your rates, right? So some assumptions are being made here of why people are editing rates. Either supply is low and demand is high, so we need to adjust our rates up to capitalize, or the opposite, right? Demand is low, but supply is high, so we need to lower our rates in order to get heads in beds and cover operating costs, etc. So by showing you the rate plan, showing you the units within the rate plan, showing you the occupancy percentage for not only that particular day or those particular rate plans, hopefully you guys now have all of the information that you need to make the appropriate decisions with your rates for your property. A couple other things I want to show you here before we dive in a little bit is this little coloring thing. This is another visual display to let you know that you are 50% full. So although you have the number there, you also have kind of a thermometer meter that gets higher as the percentage grows, right? So this is 50%, so it's half of this entire box. This is 58%, so it's a little over shading half of the entire box. This is 75%, so it's 3/4 of the way shading of this entire box, and so on and so forth. So don't necessarily get distracted by colors. It's just another visual aid to assist you, okay? Now, something else I would like to show you on this screen is For some of these dates, you're going to notice a 350 and then a negative number below it, right? A 280 and a negative number, an 80 and a negative, and so on and so forth. Well, if I hover over this particular day, this particular rate plan, this particular rate, I'm going to see here that my normal rate there is 350. That the rate is 350 for 2 people and that there is a yield adjustment on it. So this is our way of letting you know that you have a yield management rule in place within the system for those of you using it, and that you are yielding the rate already on that day by $35 downward. So the same would apply if you're yielding the rate higher, because supply is low and demand is high. You're going to see a positive number there instead of a negative number. So the thought here is that before you guys go in and edit a rate on a particular day, we wanted to let you know that that rate is already being yielded based on a yield management rule. So that way, if you didn't want to double dip or double discount or double increase the rate, we wanted to make sure that you had a visual display or representation of that action already being taken. Okay, so again, just another way of letting you guys know all of the information in order to make the best decision when adjusting rates. Okay. Okay. Now let's actually play around with this bad boy a little bit here. So this screen allows you to click on any date in any rate plan in any rate specifically with the left click of the mouse. Okay. So as an example, if I wanted to adjust the rate for next Thursday for my bed and breakfast rate plan, my best available rate, I simply click in that cell and a dialog box pops up over here on the left. Okay, now don't get distracted on this. We'll come back to this here. Now let me show you something else. You can click on any rate that you want, right? So as an example, if I wanted to change rates all over the dang place, I can click here and 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 here, et cetera, et cetera. You get the point, okay? So you can adjust a single day, you can adjust multiple days, they can be in the same rate plan and different rate plans, different days, et cetera. And if I don't want to take any action, just like you do on the occupancy map, I click this arrow to, in essence, clear that selection. So this screen is very flexible in terms on clicking wherever it is that you want. I can also take some other actions when selecting. I can click and drag. So let's say I want to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. With my left mouse, I'm simply clicking and dragging, similar to what you are used to from a usability standpoint when making a reservation on the occupancy map. And once I've made that selection, then I have the ability to come in and make some adjustments, okay? Now, let me show you a couple other things that I think are pretty cool. Let's say that or we could say this Friday. Let's say this Friday, we're only at 8% overall occupied. Well, we got some adjustments to be made, and instead of going in one by one and making them, we come to this Friday, and under this all row in this Friday column, we simply click this box, and it now highlights the entire day and every rate plan and every rate, and now I can jump in and I can quickly make some edits to that because I'm only at 8% occupied, and dang it, Friday is a busy night of the week, and last year I was full, so why aren't I this year, right? So I can click that one box and it highlights everything for me, okay? I can also, under this specific rate plan, which is tied to those specific units there, I can click this box, and it's only going to give me everything in this category of a rate plan, right? Or I can do the same thing down here if I click that I want to adjust everything in my king because maybe my queen is full and my bed and breakfast rate plan is full, but my king is falling behind, so I need to make some adjustments there. So anyways, just showing you guys some examples here. Click on an individual cell, click and drag, click all over, click for the entire day, click for a specific rate plan itself, right? So those are some views of usability that you guys will experiment with and get familiar with. So I'm just trying to show you to make your lives a little bit simpler here, okay? Okay, now let's actually look at the dialog box on the right. So I want to adjust next weekend's rates because I have zero availability here for Friday and Saturday. So I'm going to highlight those dates, and then I get the dialog box over here. So a couple things to pay attention to. We've got an adjustment tab and we've got a selected rates tab. If I highlight the selected rates tab, it's going to show me the specific rate plan in which I'm working within, and it's going to show me a specific start date and an end date, okay? Now, let me make sure I explain this and that you guys understand it. You currently have rate plans, rates, and seasons set up today, right? When you go in and you edit any rates within this quick rate editor, in order for the system to support it, what it's doing is it's creating seasons, okay? So within my bed and breakfast rate plan, under my best available rate, I have selected that I want to start a new season on March 31st and end a new season on April 1st, okay? So I make this change here. If I go back to the configuration sections into rate plans and I go into that specific rate plan and rate, I'm going to see a new season that starts on this date and ends on this date, okay? So when I was going through this with one of our customers, that was a little unfamiliar or new territory because this gentleman had his start and end dates of his seasons down pat because they've been the same for years and years. And so when he saw these new dates, it was kind of like, oh, what is that? Okay, well, anytime I use the quick rate editor, I am in essence creating new seasons. So just keep that in mind as you, over time, work within this way of adjusting rates and work within the back-end way of adjusting rates, okay? So just keep that in mind. So I come back to this adjustments tab. I have the ability to make some adjustments to this rate for these particular dates, okay? I can adjust it by a percentage, which means that I'm adding to the 450 number that's already there, okay? So if I want to go up 10%, I type in 10. If I want to go down 10%, I need to type in a minus sign and hit 10%, okay? So I've determined that I'm going to do a percentage. I see the percentage size here, so I'm either going up or down, and if I go down, I need to put in a negative sign, okay? And then once I'm done, I need to save that rate, right? So let me just do, I'm going to go up 10%, and I'm going to save that rate. So it's going to take the price that's already in there for Friday and Saturday, right? And it's then going to adjust it, okay? Now let me show you this again, but using a different thing. So let's say I want to adjust by a fixed value. Well, let's say I want to add 10 bucks to that fixed value. Well, it's adjusting what is already there, okay? So these first two guys up here, they're adjusting what is already there, okay? So if you just go in and use this thing blind, that might be a little bit confusing. It was for me. But maybe I'm not as smart as everyone else. But nonetheless, I want to make sure that I cover that with you guys so that you're getting the specific rate adjustment that you want, right? So I'm going to hit save here and then come back, and I'm going to see that it added $10 to what was already existing, okay? Now, let me show you this third option for the same exact dates. I want to set it to a fixed value. This is where you're just overriding the whole thing. You're not taking into consideration what it was, and I want to set my rates to $100 because I'm running a crazy flash sale. Yay, it's so exciting. Come stay with me. So that third option there is where you go in and you literally pick exactly what you want that rate to be, okay? So as you guys experiment over time, or depending upon how you like to adjust rates or how you think about adjusting rates, you can either do it by a percentage, a fixed value, or set it to this price, and that's exactly what it's going to be, okay? So continuing on with this example, you'll notice here, although we've called it a quick rate editor, you've got a lot more flexibility, right? So when we started building this puppy out, we said, okay, well, what is everyone going to want to do, and what's painful today, and what are some adjustments people are going to make? And we didn't want to stop at the rates because maybe you want to adjust the minimum length of stay on the fly, right? So I've got a 2-night minimum for that particular selection, Friday and Saturday. So maybe I want to adjust it to a third night. So this top option here is similar to the top two. It's taking into account what it currently is and adjusting it from there. So if I put a 1 in here, it's going to add the 2 plus the 1 to make this a 3-night minimum. So that's how easy it is to adjust it on the fly. Or if I wanted to set it to a specific minimum night stay, so maybe I want to make that a 3-night minimum, then I can use that particular option there, and now it's going to make a 3-night minimum for those 2 specific dates within that specific rate plan for those specific units, right? And as you guys know, at this point, if I have a 3-night minimum on a Friday, I have to touch Friday and get 2 other days in there. So I could get Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I could get Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I could get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, et cetera, right? So you guys should be familiar with that at that point. So not only can we, within our selections of the Quick Rate Editor tool, adjust the rates, up, down, percentage, value, or set to a fixed amount, we can also adjust our minimum night stay. So if I don't have a minimum night stay in a particular day, I can add one, or if I have one, I can adjust it up or down or remove it, okay? Something else for you guys to look at here is you'll see my different guest categories, okay? So at my demo property, I have adults, I have children's under a specific age, and I've got dogs, right? So if I want to, I can come in here and I can make adjustments to those specific guest categories, whichever one I deem needs some adjustments. And you'll see all I'm doing here, guys, is I'm clicking on these rows here, and it's called an accordion drop-down, if you will, so I can accordion it open or closed or what have you. So I'm simply clicking on these main headers here to get these things open or closed, so pretty easy to utilize. And then the last thing that you're going to see on here, guys, within these accordions is my base capacity. So my rate includes 2 people by default. That's what I set them up to. So if I need to adjust that up or down based on that rate, let me give an example. Let's say there's a 3-day holiday weekend, a Labor Day, what have you, and I normally have, my rate normally includes 2 people, but let's say I want to take advantage of the demand that is there. Instead of 2 people, I want my rate to only include 1 person, and then for a second person, I want my additional guest charges to kick in. Maybe I charge $10 for a second adult, $5 for a third adult, what have you, right? So within this feature, this editor, you've got some maximum flexibility, as I'll call it, to adjust rates, minimum length of stay, guest categories, and base capacities for your unit, okay? So pretty exciting there for your ability here. Now, let me cover some other things, okay? So let's say that, what's a practical example? I need to close some rates down. I either need to close all rates down or I need to close specific rates down because I don't want to sell those because maybe all those units are getting renovations. Maybe there's some damage to specific units or what have you, new beds, whatever's going on, right? So same thing, if I click on a specific cell, I have the ability to come in and close those rates down. So I've highlighted my cell. I want to close those rates down. Now, pay attention to the notes that's popping up here. We're basically saying, hey, you're about to close a rate. Are you sure you want to do that? So either yes, I am, or no, I'm not. Okay. Now, something else that needs to be paid attention to here. If you close a rate, it's also going to create an occupancy block in your OTA channels that use that rate, okay? So this is a point that needs to be made. For those of you that are using any of the direct connections to TripAdvisor Trip Connect or Booking.com, if you close a rate here, it's going to close it in that channel as well. So that's a very positive thing, right? Now you're not having to go to a different website or log into a different entity, third party, to close those rates as well. It can all be done here right within the cloud. So your cloud is your management center, your one-stop shop, right? So with that being said, that also means that Any rate adjustments being done here are pushing out to those third-party channels. So whether it's your direct connections, whether it's your channel manager, my allocator, OTA connections, any rate adjustments here are going to automatically push up to those OTAs if you've mapped that rate from the cloud to that particular channel. So as you guys know that are using the OTAs, you know that when we go through and we map it, you have to map what rate within ResStream Cloud matches the particular rate and units within that third-party channel, so you guys know that you have the flexibility to control that. So the point that's being made here, whether you're closing a rate down, whether you're adjusting a particular rate up or down or minimum night stays or what have you, that information is getting pushed out to those connections that you have, whether they're direct or through the channel manager, to those third-party OTA websites, okay? Now, with that being said, if you actually close down a rate, this message is telling you that it's going to close it down on the OTA, okay? If you want to open it back up, you can come in here and open it back up, but in order to open it back up to the OTA channels, you have to come in here to your occupancy by channel rules, because as soon as you close it down within the back end of the system here, and I'm going to jump over there, we have created a rule for you in the occupancy by channel rules to close that down. So if you want to open that closed rate back up in the OTA world, you have to do it here. If you want to open it back up on your reservation software for phone calls and walk-ins and for your online booking engine, you then can come in and do that here, okay? So just pay attention to not only the flexibility but the power here with this tool, guys. And as you guys know, if you come up here to this question mark, you can jump into the knowledge base as it relates to the quick rate editor, or if you guys get stuck or are unsure or hesitant, you know, reach out to the support team, call us, email us, and we'll certainly help you out with that. So in terms of the feature itself, what we're hoping, not me, but us as a company, we're hoping that this makes your life easier. The idea behind ResStream Cloud, guys, is to make you more efficient in operating your business. I know this particular adjusting of rates has been a pain point for a long time for all of you guys. So hopefully you see the power and the flexibility within what we've created. What we're also hoping is that you see the time and labor intensive nature that we've put into this in terms of a usability standpoint. Anytime that you're touching rates within a reservation software, it's a very, 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 very complex thing to do, because rates touch so many different things. They touch units, they touch invoices, they touch payments, right? They touch letter codes, they touch the booking engine, gift certificate stuff, they touch OTAs, et cetera, et cetera. So we hope that, you know, the wait was worth it here in terms of the usability, flexibility, and power of this particular solution. So that concludes my walkthrough of the usability of the quick rate editor. Now, before you go, I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek here, because I'm excited by all this stuff. So hopefully you are too. So I mentioned a couple things out here. So first of all, if you got ideas or comments about the usability or anything in general, you know, email, call me. I want to hear it all, please. Our next usability webinar is April 4th. So I did one last week, did one today. I'll do one again on the 4th. The idea here is to help you guys make sure that you're using all the bells and whistles within the program, taking advantage of the new stuff, the old stuff, and making sure that you're, in essence, getting your money's worth and using the tool to its full potential. And then the next couple of big features that we're working on, this one here, rebooking. So think of this as rebooking of a repeat guest. So you've got some guests that come same time every year, same week, same weekend. They like to stay in the same unit. It's their favorite unit. You like to give them preferential treatment for their loyalty. So this tool, or this feature in essence, as someone is checking out and says they want to rebook with you, what we're doing is we're taking all the details of that reservation, party size, contact, rooms, length of stay, any add-ons that they're adding in there, and we're basically allowing you to click a button that's going to rebook them for the same time frame next year automatically, so it'll save you a bunch of steps for having to make that reservation again, as well as you'll have the flexibility to make any edits that you need to party size, etc. The other thing that we're working on that I'll just give you a quick sneak peek on is unit type display for the booking engine. So currently today, regardless if you sell individual rooms or you sell types of rooms, which is many of one, so you've got 5 king suites or 4 queen suites with mountain views, right? Many of one. You're now going to, in the near future here, once we release this thing, you're going to be able to, in essence, display that appropriately within the booking engine. So I'll just jump into a test environment here. So keep in mind this is in test, it's not released yet, but I like to give out sneak peeks. So in the near future here, when we release it, you'll be able to come into your booking engine configuration settings, go into units and unit types, and you'll be able to say, okay, hey, and give it a second here, I'm in a test environment, so it's not going to be the fastest thing in the world. Come on, baby. Okay, so you'll be able to come in here and you'll be able to say, hey, I either want my booking engine to display by individual unit, which is all rooms individually, or I want my units to be displayed by type, where it's then grouping it by a specific rate plan, where you can then control how it displays and how it's named on the booking engine. So this one I went a little bit crazy just to show you the flexibility. And then from there, you determine what units within that rate plan are bookable online or not bookable, the rates that are bookable, so on and so forth. This units remaining threshold is a really neat feature, but I'm going to wait till later to kind of walk you through that. But nonetheless, guys, here in the near future, you're going to have the ability to show on the booking engine by unit type. So I think that's pretty exciting. That concludes today's session. So in and out in 33 minutes. So thank you very much for your time. Hopefully you got good use out of this today. Any additional questions or comments, please don't hesitate to reach out to either myself or the support team. Any thoughts, any ways to better what I've shown you today, by all means, as you know, we're open ears around here. We want this to be the best thing possible. So please enjoy it. Please use it. And if you guys need any help, don't hesitate to reach out. So thank you very much. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoy that feature. Take care. Bye-bye.